Hello and welcome to this new Android development tutorial. This is part 2 on how to create a to-do list application for Android. In the previous tutorial, we learned how to create an adapter, a list view, the UI elements, and some Java code. We were trying to set the click listener on the new task button. So basically, what do we want to happen when the new task button is clicked? Well, basically, what we want to happen is we want to show the user a dialog with edit text, and that dialog with edit text will get the current task from the user and will save that task into our array list. Okay, so how do we do that? Well, first, when the button is clicked, we will create an edit text. So we'll say edit text, and I'll call it task input. Then we will add this edit text into the dialog, but first we have to create it. So edit text task input, and we will set this to new edit text, and we will pass main activity.this as the context. Okay. Then we will set the task input as single line because we only want to get one line to make things a lot easier and cleaner and more coherent in general. To do that, we only say task input dot set single line. Okay. Now we have to create the dialog itself. So I'm gonna say alert dialog. We'll call this dialog, and I'll set this to new alert dialog dot builder. Actually, without the method call, so alert dialog dot builder. Okay, and inside these I will pass again main activity dot this as the context. Okay, but we don't have to close it with a semicolon just yet. So we'll go here and we will write into the next line dot set title, and this title we will say add a new task. Okay, add a new task. Then we're gonna go to the next line and write dot set message, and we will pass something like what is your new task. Okay, and then we will set the view to the task input. So I'm gonna say set view task input, which is our edit text we created previously. Okay, now we have to set the buttons of this dialog. So first we're gonna start with the positive button. So you're gonna say dot set positive button, and the text of the positive button will be add or add task if you want. Then we have to pass the dialog interface that on click listener. So comma, we say new dialog interface that on click listener. We click on enter and the IDE auto-generates this code for us. And inside the onClick method, we want to do the following. We're gonna do list dot add. Okay, add, and what we will add is the text of the task input. So we're gonna say task input dot get text dot to string. Okay, and this is how we add a new element to our list. And after that, we have to update the adapter data. For that, I'm gonna say adapter dot set data, and I'll pass list. So with this, we're adding a new string to our array list of strings, and we're also updating the data of the adapter. Okay. Now here, we're gonna go and create a new line and set dot set negative button, and the text of the negative button will be cancel, because if we don't want to add anything, we can click just on cancel. And we don't have a listener here, so we'll pass just null. Okay. Oops, but before this, we have to create a new one that says dot create. And now we can end the object with a semicolon. Okay, and after this, we're gonna say dialog.show. Oops, actually not here or here. Let me check. Yeah, I think we can say dialog.show, right? Yeah. So basically what we're doing here on the new task button, when the new task button is clicked, we're showing a dialog that contains netted text and enables us to get the information from the user and add that information to our array list of strings, and then use that to update the data of the list view with its adapter. Okay, so now let's run it to check if it even works. Okay, so now I'm compiling the app and will be shortly sent to the emulator. Okay, so it's installed, and here it is on the emulator, our to-do list app, which it has no list, has no tasks yet. But if we click on new task right here, as you can see, here we have a dialog that says add a new task, and it's asking what is your new task. So we're gonna go ahead here, and for example, I will type take out the garbage. Okay, and here we can click on cancel and nothing will happen, but we can also click on add task. If I click on add task, I should see here the thing, but I'm not seeing it. So maybe we did something wrong. Let me check. So if I click on add task, it's not being shown right here. Okay, so maybe we did something wrong here. Let me check. Okay, so let's check the adapter if everything is okay with the adapter. So the adapter has the list, we clear, we add all, and we notify dataset changed. Oops, I know what happens. It's about the count. We are returning 0 here, and we should not return 0. What we should return is the list size. So instead of returning 0, what we will be returning is list.size. And now we will check again and check if it works. So now I'm compiling it and running it again. And I will click on new task. I will add new task. Take out the garbage. I will click on add task. And we have a crash. Okay, so something is wrong. Let's check what it is. If we go to logcat and click in errors, we should be able to find what's wrong, what went wrong with our application. As you can see, attempt to invoke method on a null object reference. Okay, so the problem is here inside the getView method. It's saying that the text view I am getting is null. So let me check what we did wrong here. Okay. Okay. So we create our layout inflator service, row view. Okay, the row view is inflator. That inflate are the layout item parent, false, text view. Okay, text view is null. For some reason, it's null. Okay, so how do we fix this? Okay, I'm not sure, but I think maybe if we call all of them final, this will be fixed. Let's just test that. So, kind of strange that this happens. Kind of strange that this happens, but yeah. Okay, so let's try to run it again with all of them set to final. I don't know if this will make a difference, but let's try. Hello, add task, and no, it still crashes. So just to make sure the error is the same as previously on a null object reference. Okay. So we're gonna go and say we will do that if text view is different than null. So I'm gonna say if text view is different than null, then I'll set this. I'm not sure though if I should access text view this way. I don't know. So let's just check here. Oh, I know what I'm doing wrong. Oops, I know what I'm doing wrong. It's not this, so we don't have to do this. What we have to do instead, we don't even have to do it final. What we have to do is we have to access this find view by ID, but from row view. So you're gonna say row view dot find view by ID r.id dot task. Okay, so just with this word right here and a dot, we should have fixed this. So now I'm going to run it again. I forgot this actually. So, and let's check if this works now. New task, take out the garbage. I'll click on add task, and yes, as you can see, we have our first task that says take out the garbage. We can keep adding more things like clean the house or something like that, and add task, and we have more tasks like run 2 kilometers or something, and click on add task, and we have these tasks right here. So now we are able to add new tasks to our list view, which is awesome, and we have fixed the bugs we had previously. Okay, that's awesome. Now what we're gonna do is we want to be able to remove tasks. Okay, so to remove task, we will set a click listener on the list view itself. Okay, so we can do this before the new task button or after the new task button. I'll do it before. So I'll go ahead and type list view dot set on item click listener. Okay, so this will detect any clicks that we do on the items of our list view, and I'll pass new adapter view that on item click listener. Okay, and inside the on item click, what I'll do is I will show a dialog that will ask the user, do you really want to delete this task? And we'll have the yes and no options. If the user says no, then the task won't be deleted, and if the user says yes, the task will be deleted. So let's do it. So I'm gonna say alert dialog, and I'll set this to new alert dialog dot builder, and here we're gonna say main activity dot these. It's basically the same way we created the previous dialog. Then we're gonna say dot set title, and I'll ask delete this task. So I'm asking if the user wants to really delete this task. And I'll also set the positive button. So I'm gonna say set positive button, and it will say, of course, yes. And at second parameter, we have to pass the dialog interface, that on-click listener. So you're gonna say new dialog interface, that on-click listener, and inside the on-click method, I'm gonna do the following. I'm gonna remove the position, right? So we're gonna say list that remove the item at position. Okay, position becomes final because we're accessing it inside the on-click method, which is okay. So now we're gonna say adapter that set data list to update the new information, the new contents of our list view. Okay, after these I have to set also the negative button, so I'll say that set negative button, and I'll set this to no, and I'll pass null because it won't have a listener. Okay, and here we're gonna say new line create, and of course after these I'm gonna say dialog dot show. Okay, awesome. I think this is it. Yeah. So we're gonna run the application to check that everything is working fine. So I'm installing the app, I'm running the app, I have no tasks, I will add a task. I'll say take out the garbage, I will click on add task. Here I have the task. If I click on the task, then as you can see, it asks me if I want to delete the task. I will click on no, and the task won't be deleted. I will click again on the task, and I will click on yes, and as you can see, the task has been deleted. Okay, that's nice and pretty useful. Now, what else do we have to do? As you may notice, every time we run the app again, we close and destroy and create and open the app again, the previous tasks are lost, which we don't want. We want to preserve the tasks. So what we have to do is to be able to store and restore the information, right? So we're gonna create a read info and a write info methods. Okay, awesome. So let's do that just now. So after the onCreate method, so this is the onCreate method, and after this method, before the text adapter class, we're gonna write the following. We will first write a method that will enable us to save the information. So you're gonna say private void save info, and inside here I'll create a try block because file operations sometimes cause exceptions and we must create a try block, and every time we try we have to catch an exception. We will call oops, what just I did. Okay, call an exception called e, and then inside the catch block I'm gonna say e.print stack trace. Now inside the try block I'll do the following. I will say file and import the file. I'll call this just file, and I'll set this to new file these that get files directory, and I'll call this saved, right? You can call it whatever you want, but I'll call it just save. Now we will create a file output stream and a buffered writer. So I'm gonna say file output stream, I'll call it fout, and I'll set this to new file output stream. And I'll pass, of course, our file, which is called just file. And now after these, we're gonna create a buffered writer. So I'm gonna say buffered writer, I'll call it BW, and I'll set these to new buffered writer, and I'll pass new output stream writer, and I'll pass fout, my file output stream. Okay, so right here I have to write every one of our array elements as a line. To do that, we're gonna do the following. I'm gonna say for int I equals 0, I less than list dot size I plus plus. So we will do this for loop. We'll run list dot size times. Okay, awesome. And every time what we want to do is bw dot write. Oops, so buffered writer. This is bw, not bq, because it's b buffer writer. So bw dot write, and what I'll write is list get the element at I. And we want to write a new line to make it easier to read. So I'm gonna say bw dot new line, and that's it basically. And outside the for loop, I'm gonna say bw dot close and fout dot close. Okay, awesome. So this is basically how we will save the information. This method will save the information to the device storage. Now we want to read also the information. For that, we're gonna create another method. So you're gonna say private void read info. Okay, and inside these, we're gonna create a file. So you're gonna say file, and I'll set this to new file. The first parameter will be these that get files dir, and the second one should be the same name of the file we saved to, so it's gonna be saved again. Okay, and now we're gonna say if file doesn't exist, so if the file doesn't exist for some reason, we will just return here. But if the file exists, so we will keep running this, and we'll say try block the same, catch exception, and we will call it E. And inside the catch block, we're gonna say E dot print stack trace. Sorry, I scroll down the screen. Okay, now inside the try block, what we're gonna do is the following. We're gonna say file input stream, I'll call it is, and I'll set this to new file input stream, and I'll pass file. Okay, then I'm gonna create a buffered reader. So I'm gonna say buffered reader. I will call it the reader, and I'll set these to new buffered reader And again, new input stream reader, and I'll pass is because we just created that element. Okay, then I'm gonna create a string that will contain the current line that is being read. So it will be a string line, and I'll set this to reader that read line. Okay, and then I'll say while line is different than a null, which basically means as long as we have more lines to read, just keep reading, right? So while line is different than null, we're gonna say list that add line. Okay, and of course we have to update the line content, so you can set line reader equals reader that read line. Okay, awesome. So this looks awesome and should work. Now we have to call the read information and the save information methods. So we are gonna save the information inside the onPause. I think would be a good place to save the information. Will that be a good place? Or can we just save the information when we create a new task? Well, maybe actually. So it really depends on what you want. You can save it on the onPause method if you want to be more efficient, but you can also save it when you create a new task and when you delete a new task. But I will just call it from the onPause method. So I'm gonna say override protected void on a pause, and I'm gonna say super dot on pause, and after this I'm gonna say save info. So every time the activity is paused, the information will be saved. And from the onCreate method, I have to read the information. So a good place of reading it is before I set the data. So I'm gonna say here read info. I will call read info just before I call set data. Okay, so now let's run the app to check if it works. I'm compiling, installing, and running the app. To the list, new task, and now finally I will say take out the garbage. I will click on add task. I will close the app. I will close it from recent even. And I will search for our application, which is a to-do list app. Oops, what happened? It crashed. And let me check. Oops, Pixel Launcher keeps stopping. Sorry. There's something wrong with the emulator, as you can see. So I'm gonna try to run it from the IDE again, which will be the same basically. And yes, it works. As you can see here, we have our take out the garbage, which is still in place. We can keep adding more tasks like run 2K, fix the computer, okay, and something like cook dinner or something, right? So we have 4 tasks. We can close this, okay, and I will send it again from the IDE. And as you can see, we still have our 4 tasks we created previously. So now you can actually use this and manage this, guys. And you can, of course, if you complete one of them, for example, running 2K, you say delete this task and you'll say yes, and it's gone. Take out the garbage, delete it, yes, and it's gone. Fix computer, yes, it's gone. Cook dinner, yes, it's gone. And you can keep adding more tasks and so on. So that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. And the core functionality is is there, but we still have to add more features to make our to-do list more usable, more exciting, more interesting for us. So I hope you enjoyed the video and I see you in the next one. Bye.